researchers, more Nobel laureates in my state than any other damn state, more Fortune 500 companies in my state than any other state. Look that up, because I know people are rolling their eyes and saying, no, it's Texas. You're wrong.
It's true. I looked it up.
And we're, by the way, a donor state. We provided $83.1 billion more than we received from the federal government. Texas took $71.1 billion. I'm not saying that to bash Texas, but you know what? Pretty proud of my goddamn state.
I saw
Punching
that
above
too.
our weight, man. But AI,
Can you repeat those numbers?
$83.1 billion. We provided more to the federal government than we received. In the same year that Texas received $71.1 billion more than.
So if you look at like a map of who, and let me explain to you why this is important. Because what he's saying is, if you look at who are welfare states and who aren't, Texas looks like they're not one. But he's saying, actually, after producing revenue and giving it to the federal government, they're still receiving billions more. He's saying they actually are still a welfare state, which I did not even know. And I didn't have time once I found this clip, because this was just posted this morning on Tennessee Holler's account. So I actually just started doing the research, and it's like, this is the Gavin Newsom that can win a presidential election. I prefer Chris Murphy, but I'm just saying, this is the guy who was like, oh yeah, nobody, like, this man is holding all of this information in his mind.
They provided to the federal
So
government.
you're net positive.
Net positive. 9 out of 10 of the donor states are Trump states, and I don't mean that pejoratively, Trump. 7 of the 10 are Republican states, but 9 out of the 10 dependent states, welfare states, are Trump states. The donor states disproportionately the blue states. 71% of the country's GDP comes from blue counties. Mm-hmm. These same crack-up counties with all these crazy liberals that can't get out of their own goddamn way, and the world's come to an end. It's 71% of the economy of the goddamn country, man. It separates our game from the game played elsewhere.
That is the Gavin Newsom that can be president of the. That's the guy I knew, the lawyer. 70. What he's saying is, because that's the truth, right? Even when you're inside a red state, blue counties are 71% of the gross domestic product of the United States is being produced in blue counties. You know, the bleeding heart liberals that can't make decisions while we're supporting everyone else. Yeah, he's alive and well, people. I found him this morning. Let's just listen one more time, because it's like the guy that was like fluffing Steve Bannon on a podcast. It's like, where the are you? I thought he was going to do a podcast and use that brain to attack people. It's like, I guess he's back.
It separates our game from the game played elsewhere is innovation, entrepreneurialism, more patents, more engineers, more researchers, more Nobel laureates in my state than any other damn state, more Fortune 500 companies in my state than any other state. Look that up, because I know people are rolling their eyes and saying, no, it's Texas. You're wrong.
It's true. I looked it up.
And we're, by the way, a donor state. We provided $83.1 billion more than we received from the federal government. Texas took $71.1 billion. I'm not saying that to bash Texas, but you know what? Pretty proud of my goddamn state.
I saw
Punching
that
above
too.
our weight, man. But AI,
Can you repeat those numbers?
$83.1 billion. We provided more to the federal government than we received. In the same year that Texas received $71.1 billion more than they provided to the federal
So
government.
you're net positive.
Net positive. 9 out of 10 of the donor states are Trump states, and I don't mean that pejoratively, Trump. 7 of the 10 are Republican states, but 9 out of the 10 dependent states, welfare states, are Trump states. The donor states disproportionately the blue states. 71% of the country's GDP comes from blue counties. Mm-hmm. These same crack-up counties with all these crazy liberals that can't get out of their own goddamn way, and the world's come to an end. It's 71% of the economy of the goddamn country, man.
That is the Gavin Newsom that can lead this country. I don't know what he was doing for a while, but like, it's like, oh, there you are. It's nice to see you again, weirdo. Thank you for showing up and stopping acting weird. What is happening? Okay, hold on. I don't know what's about to happen, but let's just see. Hello? Hi. Did you mean, you've been in the request for a while. Did you mean to do that? Okay, I'm just assuming no. I just thought it might be that guy that told me I had Trump derangement syndrome, possibly from a backup account. I just, if anyone accuses me of something, I do want to finally give them a chance, even if they're hiding who they are to say. Just had to check. But Steph, thank you for the $5, the super chat on YouTube. You just showed me a world where Tucker Carlson can be respectable, and now I'm scared. I know, Tucker Carlson, like, the point is not what the motivation is, right? Like, I think that's the point with Space Karen. It's like the motivation is he's agreed. He's the richest man in the world, getting $8 million a day in government welfare, and now like his subsidies were taken from him, so he's angry and bitter. I just think when you're fighting off fascism, you can't be picky about the why, right? Like, I don't care why Tucker Carlson has decided to ally with Steve Bannon and go after billionaires. I just think if someone's speaking the truth, then we need to acknowledge it. That's the most important thing. And if it's let me show you. I want to show you Jamie Raskin, because this is like, let me show you how deductive reasoning works. I love watching MAGA like wander around in the dark and being like, thank you for the gift. Thank you guys so much for all the support. If you would like to support me, this is my Venmo and Cash App. That's what this means. And if you would like to support me, all this research, all the clips and stuff, why does this, okay, there it goes. I was like, why does it never update? It is much appreciated. Okay. I want to show you how a person whose brain works actually could just correctly identify what's going on with the Epstein stuff. Wait, let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, this is the first, because I think there's 2 clips of this. So Jamie Raskin, I say this all the time. You guys know I feel about the gentleman from Maryland. He's the chair of the Oversight and Accountability. Wait, did I get that wrong? Is he the Judiciary Chair now? Yeah, he's the Judiciary Chair now. But he one day could sit on the Supreme Court. This is one of the foremost constitutional scholars in the country. And I think it's super easy to figure out, like, Trump's lying about the Epstein files. Like, if you just ask someone whose brain works.
Doubt it. Maybe there are some Republicans doing that. And we do know, look, why would Trump not want to release it at this point when he's been demanding an open, complete, comprehensive accounting and release? Either one, he's implicated, and they don't want to doctor the tapes, or at least doctor them any further, because there is that mysterious 1 minute missing of the tape in the prison. But so either he's implicated, or there are other high-ranking Republicans he's covering up for, or there are people on there that he wants to use this as leverage against, which we know is also a big, MO for Donald Trump. He would like to have the coercive leverage of possessing this arsenal of information around them. It'd be much better for everybody to come clean, and let's vindicate the public interest here. I'm going to be asked, doubt it.
That's how deductive reasoning works. I would like to present option 4, a combination of the first 3. I think option, let's just say a comprehensive combination of all of those. But that's how someone whose brain works can figure things out. Mac is like, we need to burn Pam Bondi at the stake. This is that blonde woman. She's up to something. What are we going to do about her? Couldn't be the man saying no men should wear makeup, but has makeup on every day. Let's not look at Orange Grandpa. Like, it's, we can't, you can't help these people. They're still helping them. They just let them fight their way out of the paper bag. When one whole side of that paper bag is open, they could just walk out. There's no way to help them. And like, this is how someone I just want to give an example of, like, if your brain works, this is the kind of things that you say.
It'd be much better for everybody to come clean, and let's vindicate the public interest here. I'm going to be asking Chairman Jordan to call for a hearing where we subpoena the Attorney General and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel to come in and tell us everything that we know, because this thing is really spinning out of control at this point, and there's one way to put it to rest, which is to come clean, as President Trump promised he would during the campaign.
That's so strange. And like MAGA, I know you don't watch. I am obsessed. Congressional hearings are the new Super Bowl. Get on board. Trust me. If you think the Super Bowl is interesting, meet Congress. Like these people are out of their minds. But let me help you with what happens. He is going to do what he's saying. He's the chair of judiciary. He's going to go there. He's going to try to subpoena these people, and Republicans are going to vote it down. Now, if you are not being home invaded, robbed, and lied to by a bunch of pathological lying fraud grifters, why would they not? This is the answer. You just heard it. We'll just subpoena all these people. We'll get them under We'll get them under oath in Congress and just say, like, what do you know? But this will never happen because of your orange leader and savior, the guy who says men shouldn't wear makeup but continues to wear makeup every day. Now, you can say, that woman has Trump derangement syndrome. We need to do something about her. Why is that woman showing her shoulders and talking so much? Get back to your country, white power. Or you could be like, hey, like, it seems like every single thing I was promised, I was lied to about, and I might now decide to look further into things. Like, it's one or the other. I think you will probably go with the Trump derangement syndrome, but it's just, I mean, I'm just providing options. You know what I'm saying? That just options for the few of you who are on the fringes of the MAGA cult, because I've met you, right? Like, I love that Pickles used to be like a pretty important gamer because I think he attracts like young, like red-pilled Republican, like 19-year-olds whose brains actually work. And you can catch them and be like, oh, you can think? You can follow the line of logic? Oh, you're going to follow it all the way to the left. Because if you can think your way right out of that cult, but it just depends on if you want to think. But, you know, none of you do. The majority of you who vote and who are deeply entrenched in the Trump cult, you guys don't want to think. You don't want to hear the truth. I just want to show some other clips I think are interesting of the cognitive dissonance. This is Caitlin Collins having Richie Torres, who, look, I love Richie Torres, but this is another example of somebody like super beholden to AIPAC. Like, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, it's like the Cory Booker problem. But again, Tim Burchett, I could bring up clip after clip of him saying that there's a 3 PDO ring, that we need to expose everyone, that he knows something no one else knows, that Trump's going to expose it all, you know, like, and now let's see what if Tim Burchett is walking the walk or talking the talk.
You know, a wise person once said, when a clown enters the palace, the clown does not become a king, the palace becomes a circus. And so we're seeing a confirmation that the Trump presidency is nothing more than a glorified circus, staffed not by actual government professionals, but by clowns, by television personalities. And Donald Trump and his acolytes have spent their political career fanning the flames of conspiratorial politics, and now it's coming back to haunt them. You know, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino falsely accused the Biden administration of, quote-unquote, a cover-up of the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy. But for me, the worst offender is Pam Bondi, who, as Attorney General, said that the Epstein client list was on her desk, waiting for review. And that turned out to be a lie. And so the Trump administration has no one and nothing to blame but itself for fanning the flames of conspiratorial politics.
I think that's fair. Now let's hear from weird backwoods Tennessee conspiracy theorist who sleeps with his AR, Tim Burchett. What's he got to say?
You ran against was everything that he did, and so if he did the exact opposite, I mean, it just doesn't figure. Yeah, everybody's upset about this Epstein thing. I'm sure Trump is too, but I don't think Trump's on that list, because I think if he was, if there is in fact a list, but you know, I've studied criminal
You spent years saying there was, Tim. It's very confusing that now you're confused if, in fact, there is a list when the FBI said there was a list. It's super weird now, Tim. This is the guy that said aliens were flying drones off the East Coast. Does anyone remember when every Republican in this country was convinced we were under attack from alien drones? That was led by this man. Like, Tim, you're not sure if there was a list? Like, that's all I heard you talk. I love how Tim, oh, is it amnesia? Is it the old conservative amnesia? Or is it me? That woman's got Trump derangement syndrome because her brain works and she remembers all the hypocrisy and lies that we tell. Someone needs to tell her to pipe down. Yeah. I hope my brain stops working. I think I would have an easier time in this country if I get less intelligent.
If there is in fact a list, but I've studied criminal behavior for a very long time.
Studied? I can't.
And they rarely keep a list of the criminals that they do business with. But I suspect what you'll find eventually is going to be those flight logs, and the flight logs don't show anything other than people flew with him or on his plane that you ran against.
Tim Burchett, the dumbest person in Congress, has been studying criminal behavior. What? These people, we're in a nightmare that is never going to end. Yeah. Who said that? I say that every day. Bliss would be great. Exactly. Like, hold me down and drill a hole into my frontal lobe. I want to be as stupid as MAGA. I don't want to know that you guys are all stupid. Just put me out of my misery. I should not be living in this timeline. I don't want to be the only one that knows that you guys are idiots.
Congressman Burchett, can I ask you, because you defended Dan Bongino, you said he's a friend of yours, and you talked about his time in the Secret Service. The deputy director at the FBI is an incredibly serious job, and they do a lot of the work running that department, as we've spoken to past deputy FBI directors about this. Is it okay with you if he just doesn't go to work because he and Pam Bondi are in a fight about the Epstein files?
I can remember during the Biden administration, you had the man who was over our military didn't show up.
Yeah, but this is about right now.
I just want to make sure everyone understands what the dumbest man in Congress just said. We're talking about one issue and about lies and obfuscation and the assistant deputy director being like, there's a huge cover up. I refuse to come to work. I hate this place under Trump. And the dumbest man in Congress, well, listen, I don't know if he's the dumbest, but he is very much one of them. I've watched Tim Burchett for quite a long time. He is super dumb. And his response was, once... Oh my God, I was going to get it wrong again. I don't know why I always mistake. Sorry, I can't say it wrong again. I'm going to name a wide receiver for the Cowboys other than a 5-star general. I've just done it enough times. I can't do it again. I have to look. I'm about to say someone's name who had sex with Kim Kardashian, and I just can't do it. Okay, Lloyd Austin, not Miles Austin, the man that had a brief rendezvous with Kim Kardashian and was a wide receiver for the Cowboys. If I do that one more time, I'm gonna it literally. Lloyd James Austin III. His response to this whole cover up, obfuscation, and lies is Lloyd Austin had cancer and didn't tell anyone and was in the hospital to get an operation. That's what he said, if you're wondering. So when you listen again, just understand that is one of the dumbest people I've ever heard speak, who continuously elected to Congress. That's his response.
Can I ask you, because you defended Dan Bongino, you said he's a friend of yours, and you talked about his time in the Secret Service. The deputy director at the FBI is an incredibly serious job, and they do a lot of the work running that department, as we've spoken to past deputy FBI directors about this. Is it okay with you if he just doesn't go to work because he and Pam Bondi are in a fight about the Epstein files?
I can remember during the Biden administration, you had the man who was over our military didn't show up.
Yeah, but this is about right now what's happening with the president you voted for.
I don't remember CNN. I don't remember CNN raising a ruckus or the Democrats.
Oh, we did cover Secretary Austin's hospitalization.
He's never away from his phone. He's never away from his computer. And just because he's not in the office does not mean he's working. Honestly, I do.
But someone in the Biden administration who's a 4-star general had cancer. Like, let me help you, Tim. We are not talking about that right now, and your brain does not seem to be working. Like, and MAGA, again, if you think that is a response to you being home invaded, the largest transfer of wealth in a single bill, while you're giving Trump a Andrew Jackson and typing that I have Trump derangement syndrome, well, this guy's bringing up that a general had cancer. Like, this is, you need an MR. It's you. If any of this makes sense to you, it's not me. It's not, that woman's not making much sense. Like, it's not me, it's you. You need to get an MRI, but you probably can't because you don't have insurance because it was all just taken away. Get it before those Medicaid cuts after the midterms. The time is now. MAGA, get your MRIs now. 2027 is coming. You're not going to have no insurance. Yeah, I thought they were against working from home. I know. Exactly. It's the most productive type of work is working from home. Oh, yeah. Trump blamed Obama, too. Oh, yeah. I have that clip, too. I just don't know how many ridiculous clips of this I can show. I have the clip where Trump blamed Obama. I think at one point he blamed Hillary Clinton. He's like, wait, I'm trying to get it right. Wait, I want to show. Let me show you a meme. It's not exactly about that, but it's kind of funny. It's like, God, I hate how that happens. We need to release the list. There is no list. The list is on my desk. The list is fake and made by Obama. Like, this is MAGA. If your brains work at all, the answer is not Trump told me to type in chat's TDS. The answer is all of these people are lying to you for some reason. You can figure out who that is. He also blamed it on Hillary Clinton. Another, like, and MAGA's like, these Democrats keep pointing out that people are liars. I can't stand it. Yeah, it's everyone that keeps just being like, hey, this is all very weird. None of this makes any sense. Blame all of us. Let's go to a Republican C-SPAN caller. I didn't know if I'd get to this clip, but I think it's time. This is just a Republican that called into C-SPAN. I love these people.
Kayvon in Indiana, line for Republicans. Good morning, Kayvon.
Hi, yeah. Lifelong Republican here, although I have never voted for Donald Trump. And I just want to echo Rhonda from New Jersey, saying I agree with everything that she says. I voted for Ronald Reagan. I voted for George Bush. I voted Republican my whole life. But this Donald Trump is not a Republican. He's an evil, evil man. Just look what he's done in Brazil, where he has put that whole country on ransom, saying if they don't adjust their tariff rates, saying if they don't let Bolsonaro go, he's going to put higher tariffs on their country. Is nobody watching this? Is nobody just like...
MAGA's not watching this, sir. Your brain works and you very clearly can read. No, MAGA has zero idea what you're talking about.
What is this? This is not a world leader. This isn't a politician. This is a dictator. This is an evil, evil man who needs to be stopped. And I agree completely with Rhonda. If there is a God, I don't know if there is one. If there is a God and he's watching, we're screwed. America is screwed.
Thank you, sir. That's just a random Republican. See, I told you this live was going to be full of hope. This is where we laugh so we don't all cry. I told you. That's a man from Indiana. It's like, or he's like, Rhonda from Indiana's right. We're all effed in the A. We're not going to survive this. And by the way, it was dumb to vote for Ronald Reagan, but don't tell them that. You know what I mean? Like we can't tear Ronald Reagan from them yet, but God, like at least they can correctly identify a grifter. Like we got a guy in the White House. What if Biden was selling cologne? You know what I mean? Like, would we be feeling this way? And I don't know if it's time to do this, but I think I should, because like, we need a bit of Robert Reich. I have 2 Robert Reich videos. Oh, thank you so much, Haley. You're the best. I've been a TikTok subscriber for 300 days. Oh my God. Don't make me cry. You're the most brilliant, beautiful, genuine human being, and I'm so glad you're back. Thank you so much. And yeah, the People's Receipts is just all about making sure no one in this country feels gaslit who finds this live. Like, yeah, because you're not crazy. I'm not crazy. The crazy people are the weirdos that come in this live and say that we have Trump deranged syndrome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it endlessly. I want to just wait. I want to make sure. Yeah, this is what okay. I'm just making sure it's the right clip. So I always say Robert Reich is my de facto cult leader, but it's the same message that Bernie Sanders preached, that the far right before Trump, before they joined the cult and were in an information silo and cognitive dissonance. They were like, yeah, Bernie Sanders is making sense. That's all Robert Reich is saying, is the same exact things that Bernie Sanders is saying. And then once Trump got a hold of him, I don't know if anyone noticed this shift, but one of the most disturbing shifts I saw in MAGA, or what was the far right that turned into MAGA, was this belief that like deregulation is for me. No, it's not. It's a transfer of wealth to the top of the economy. And like, if you debate MAGA, they'll be like, deregulation's great. No, your brain doesn't work. That's not how math works. But Trump did tell you that deregulation was going to make your life easier. That's not the type of deregulation we're talking about.
Deregulation masks another kind of trickle-down economics, where the financial gains go to the top and nothing trickles down except risks and losses. Those in favor of deregulation claim that getting rid of burdensome rules frees up the economy to be more productive.
Like, regulations basically should be default gone. Default gone, not default there, default gone.
He seems to have a lot of energy around reducing regulation. If I can help him do that, I'm going to help him, because we do have too much regulation.
The truth is, Trump and his minions don't really care about getting the government off your back. They want to get the government off their backs and the backs of their corporate donors. They want the government to look the other way, so big corporations can make more money, even if they hurt you. Regulations protect you and me from being harmed, fleeced, shafted, injured, or sickened by corporate products and services. Take the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the government agency that protects you from financial scams. Trump and DOJ gutted the agency, halted its regulatory work, and dropped major lawsuits against predatory banks and lenders. Republican lawmakers are also working with Trump to overturn regulations protecting you from excessive banking overdraft fees. Who the hell wants more overdraft fees? Certainly not consumers.
Billionaires and corporations. Like, this is the point. If you believe, like MAGA, you have the derangement syndrome. It's called cognitive dissonance. Also, while you're Googling cognitive dissonance, because I know those words have a lot of syllables, I would suggest after you're done possibly getting your head around that concept, just go on to Stockholm syndrome. That's where you begin to feel empathy for your captor. So I think if we cover cognitive dissonance and Stockholm syndrome, you might begin to understand the situation that you find yourself in and why you feel like you need to lash out at people who can follow lines of logic and whose brains work.
The moves will leave you more vulnerable to financial fraud and abuse while fattening the profits of corporate oligarchs. That includes Musk, whose corporations are regulated by the CFPB. On climate, Trump's deregulation spree has been a gift to the fossil fuel industry that bankrolled his 2024 campaign. His executive order on energy has set in motion dirty energy projects, including on public lands and waters. Trump's EPA administrator, Lee Zeldin, a big oil insider, is overriding years of the agency's research and work to limit harmful greenhouse gases. Zeldin also announced that the EPA will roll back over 30 pollution regulations that were established to save lives and protect the planet, calling it
the largest deregulatory announcement in U.S. history.
Trump claims this agenda will unleash American energy and lower prices. But American energy has already been unleashed in the form of wind and solar power. These are the...
I saw someone in the comments, and I'm sorry I didn't address it at the time. I have a million things going on in my brain, but I saw it and I remember someone in the comments like an hour ago was like, still waiting for that promise Trump made that my energy bill was going to be cut in half. Understand, it's the opposite. When we when we deregulate, when we punish wind and solar, when we stop the subsidies around it, right? The cheaper energy is wind and solar. And it depends. I just want to say, like, the general idea when you think about, like, how can I get the cheapest energy bill for my house? It just depends on where you are, right? Like, I am a native born Phoenician. Solar panels are king here, right? Like, the sun is shining all the time. Like, we can run everything on solar panels in Arizona. But if you are on the eastern seaboard, wind, right? Like, wind farms might significantly lower your energy. Similar to, I've lived all over. People are always like, why the hell have you lived everywhere? It's because I'm insane and I just live everywhere for a little bit. I lived in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Don't ask, for a year. Like, I'd never experienced the northern jet stream, but man, is wind ripping through that place. Like, low wind is like, oh, the wind's only blowing at 25 miles an hour today. That is like the calmest wind in the northern jet stream. I mean, the wind is ripping through the Midwest, and wind farms are the cheapest form of energy. It just depends. Is Brett here? Brett, love you. You're the absolute best. Thank you for doing what you do. Sorry, I just saw everyone adding, like, talking to Brett. I love Brett. He's the best. But the point is, there's many ways to get cheap energy. Let me blow your mind, because I know there's a couple MAGA just lurking silently listening to this. Do you remember the time when conservatives and Republicans and Trump started lying to you and saying that Biden had paused all LNG exports and that it was horrible and wrong? Do you know what was coming? Because I knew this before, because I can insert a lot of data into large language models. Like, I pay a lot of money to a service to be able to do that and analyze data. So I knew it, but I finished that final report, that LNG gas report. You know why Biden was doing that? Because he's an amazing guy. And the more we were starting to export LNG, what was going to happen, and here's the ultimate irony of it, in the South, where they use liquid natural gas for energy, within like 7 quarters, the price of liquid natural gas was going to skyrocket. And Biden hired the right people who can do math and protect price models inside the US, and they were trying to protect the energy prices in the South. And by the way, we never stopped fully exporting liquid natural gas. We just started exporting to places we couldn't control how it would affect the environment, and we didn't have like environmentally sound trade agreements with. But all of that was a lie, and the real finding of that report, you can go find it and read it if you don't believe me, but it's that everyone in the South that relies on LNG is about the prices of their energy is going to skyrocket. That's what we know from the big, beautiful bill. The nonpartisan people that analyzed the bill said everyone's energy is going to go up because Trump was bribed by fossil fuels, by the never-ending oxymoron of clean coal. Like, it, wherever you are, if you've got sun, use it to generate energy. If you've got wind, It's cheapest to use it to generate energy. And here's the truth. I don't love that the richest man in the world owns all these, owns like Tesla and stuff, but we have to move to clean energy. We have to. Trump's an idiot orange grandpa who says men shouldn't wear makeup, but wears a full face of makeup, has no idea what he's talking about, and wants to make us all pay more for things because he thinks he's in the 1800s and he's a grifting, thieving liar. We have to move to clean energy. We do. I don't like space, Karen. We still have to move to clean energy. Period. We don't have a choice. It doesn't matter who owns Tesla. It doesn't matter who owns the companies that benefit of it. The move has to happen. Like, if I was MAGA, I would jump ship for Space Karen, honestly. At least he's younger and smarter. Like, I don't know why they're still following that guy. Like, I think that's a testament to true cognitive dissonance. Because, like, if there was a chance it was not a cult, the logical defection would be like, oh, well, we have to move to a clean energy grid. And at least Elon Musk is a selfish, crazy person, but at least he has sound ideas around that. So I guess we'll just shift to this crazy person and follow that person, like maybe we could curb the Mars stuff and get some health insurance, but they didn't go. They're still following crazy orange grandpa. And that's how I know that this is a cult.
Sources that will lower costs for you, but Trump is discouraging their production. By relying more on dirty energy sources, big oil will profit, while the rest of us will end up paying the price in the form of more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and an even faster path toward climate destruction. Trump's deregulation has been a disaster for workers, too. Trump.
Not just that. I don't want you to think this is some sort of, because if you're dumb enough to think climate crisis isn't real, then I guess all those campers that died in the Texas flood, that's not a thing. But if you're still dumb enough to think that in real time, because I think the only way to appeal to MAGA is just your energy bill is going up. I think you should understand that.
Reversed Biden's executive order guaranteeing a $15 minimum wage for federal contractors, and even reversed a 1965 civil rights order against workplace discrimination. Trump also undermined the National Labor Relations Board, which defends workers' rights to unionize, by firing its pro-worker general counsel and replacing her with an anti-union corporate lawyer. All while Musk's SpaceX and Jeff Bezos' Amazon are suing to have the entire board declared unconstitutional. Trump's mass firings at federal agencies have upended the lives of thousands of federal workers. These are the people who oversee air safety, food and drug safety, disaster response, public health, and so much more. Again, less oversight for corporations, more cost and risk for the rest of us. This is just the beginning of the deregulatory agenda taking shape in Trump's second term. And thanks to Trump's directives, this agenda could be rammed through with almost no opportunity for public input. Normally, proposed changes to regulations must be posted for public comment. Instead, Trump wants regulators to immediately just cancel rules or stop enforcing them altogether. Trump and his pack of industry lapdogs, who are busy overseeing the same industry they once represented, will do well thanks to all of this. But the rest of us won't. We may not know for years the extent we are unprotected until the next financial collapse, next public health crisis, next upsurge in fraud, next natural disaster. So when you hear Trump or anyone from his administration say that gutting regulations is good for America, know the truth. Deregulation is just another form of trickle-down economics, where the gains go to the top and nothing trickles down except the risks and losses.
If you disagree, there must be some MAGA in here, because I debated all the time, and all you guys said was deregulation is going to be good for small businesses. Trump is just destroyed small businesses. He's empowered corporations and put small businesses out of business. Trump's trade policy is antithetical to allowing small businesses to enter a market. You can agree or you can request and tell me why that's not right. I would not recommend it because you'd be wrong. Every single move Trump has made has put small businesses out of business. If you are not a corporation that has unbelievable amounts of working capital to sustain the constant disruption to trade policy, you're out of business. And anybody that says that conservatives are good for capitalism at this point, you cannot do math. You don't understand a market. Period. You're just some person on your knees or exhaustingly giving Trump a Andrew Jackson. It can't be that you've taken an economics class. This is indefensible. The most popular trade on the market is the bet that Trump is manipulating the markets. Like, understand the taco trade. It's not that Trump, I think that MAGA is offended by that because they think it's questioning Trump's masculinity. What trade advisors are saying to people is understand that Trump is moving the markets purposely. He's a grifter, and you have to wait it out. Buy low, sell high. That's what they're recognizing is market manipulation, is grifting. You tell me how that benefits small businesses. I shall wait. It does not. It's the opposite. You're consolidating power at the top of a crony capitalistic market. The only way for free markets to exist is regulation. Without it, corruption reigns supreme. That's the point. And that's what you've been trained to believe. Socialism is a bad word. Socialism is the checks and balances on corruption inside a capitalistic market. Prove me wrong. Without checks and balances in a market, I think we just worded it wrong and people don't understand. There has to be checks and balances within a free market, or we get Putin, we get Trump, we get Mustache Man. That's what socialism is. It's checks and it's regulation to stop corruption, to stop the average person who just wants to survive and help their family to survive from falling victim to corruption and crony capitalism. Exactly. Triska, how do you refute these facts, man? They can't refute. It's like, take one economics class. Just one. Take macroeconomics. It'll all become clear. Or you could just read something. I just want to say again, the most I ever learned was on my own. You also don't need to pay someone to educate you if you have the will to learn. If you have that if you're interested in things, if you want to know what's going on in the world, it's free. TikTok is one of the best learning tools, and that's why I'm so sickened that it might be ruined, because it's a free education. Take the free education. Walk out of cognitive dissonance and accept that you don't know anything and you might learn something. I do just want to, I have so many more things I want to talk about, actually. I'm trying to decide. I want to talk about, let me just figure out where to start. This court order. So, was it Friday evening or late Friday, a court order to stop the ICE raids in Los Angeles, came down, which basically, I'll just show you a couple clips, because this is Karen Bass, who's the mayor of Los Angeles, talking about this, but I hate that. But the day after. So the court order came out on Friday, but this is, I think we'll start with the mayor of Los Angeles talking about it on Saturday.
We finally have some good news. I'm sure you've been witnessing what has been going on here. The random snatching of people off our streets by so-called ICE agents A lot of times we really don't know who these masked men are because they don't have any ID. They jump out of plain cars with no license plates, tinted windows. They pull guns and they pull people aside and in many cases detain them. We don't know where they've been taken. They have no access to their families, no access to legal counsel. But today we got a great decision from the court, a temporary restraining order. So this has got to stop. They have to follow the Constitution. They have to have a warrant. They have to go about arrest or detention in a proper manner. And if people are detained, we need to know where they're going. They will have access to their lawyers. They will have access to their families. This is an assault on our democracy, and we needed to stop it. But I think today showed that if we band together and if we fight back peacefully, if we use the means that our democracy provides, and in this instance, the courts, we got a proper decision. Now we all have to hang tough and make sure that this decision stands. But I'm telling you, America, because what started in Los Angeles could be in your city next. So if that's the case, join together, stay united, defend our democracy, defend our Constitution. This is absolutely unacceptable, and we will not stand for it.
Yeah, so let me show you. I just want to show you a couple of clips about this. I think Jen Psaki did a really good clip about this too that has more information.
Okay, so as I just mentioned, we just got a massively important ruling out from a judge in the Central District of California. I have not read this during the break. Our producers have been reading through it. They're very smart. They read quickly. I'm about to talk to some very smart people who also can tell us what it means. But basically the backstory here is that last week a group of immigrant rights groups sued the Trump administration on the premise that the way Trump was carrying out his immigration agenda was illegal. And tonight, the federal judge in that case has agreed with them, issuing a temporary restraining order that blocks the Trump administration from doing a variety of things in Southern and Central California. Now, this is
because of the creepy Supreme Court that has ceded power. The Supreme Court of the United States ceded power to the executive branch and say, hey, we don't want to do our job anymore. You can do, right? No more federal injunction. So this is only for central. Sorry, I don't want to repeat it. I don't want to get it wrong. So I'm going to let her repeat it. It's not nationwide.
From doing a variety of things in Southern that blocks the Trump administration from doing a variety of things in Southern and Central California. Now, this is a quote from the ruling. The stop arrest plaintiff's ex parte application for TRO, temporary restraining order, is granted. Specifically, the order bars the Trump administration from stopping people to arrest them on the basis of race.
I don't know what is happening, why these clips are cutting out. I'm not sure because I don't have a problem with my internet connection. But what she's saying is, if you wonder why this lawsuit happened, many times Tom Homan has been on for-profit media saying that he is racially profiling people. You know, this is something he says, Stephen Miller says, they're racially profiling brown people. That is part of how ICE is operating. They don't need any of, they're just going out and they're saying, you look brown, you're near a Home Depot, we're coming to get you. And a judge in Southern California in that federal district is like, yeah, that's 100% unconstitutional.
Speaking Spanish, presence at a particular location, or the type of work one does. I guess somebody should get a copy of this to Tom Homan. I'm sure they are at this point in time. We'll see.
That's why she's saying someone should tell Tom Homan because Tom Homan, let me just give you an example. And this isn't, well, I'll come back to that, but this is Tom Homan literally being like, oh yeah, this is why they sued him.
Got to get your reaction to this Biden-appointed federal judge out in Los Angeles, apparently expected today to issue a temporary restraining order halting your lawful operations. She says, I think it's important for the court not to burden otherwise lawful law enforcement activities. Your reaction there?
Look, people need to understand, ICE officers and Border Patrol, they don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them, and question them. They just need this totality of the circumstances, right? They just got through the observation, get articulable facts, based on their location, their occupation, their physical appearance, their actions.
Again, you heard him say it, right? Every single word out of this man's mouth, and he said this many times, but this was 3 days ago, after the lawsuit was filed, and he's saying, based on occupation, location, physical appearance, we are allowed to accost people. That is the most unconstitutional shit a person could say. And that's why this judge granted this temporary restraining order. Because it's like, this man is publicly just being like, yeah, if you're brown and you're standing outside a Home Depot and you look like a construction worker, I'm going to f your life up. Like, there is nothing more unconstitutional than that statement that he just made.
Somebody briefly detain them and question them. They just need this, so totality of the circumstances, right? They just got through the observation, you know, get articulable facts based on their location, their occupation, their physical appearance, their actions. Like a uniformed border patrolman walks up to them at for instance, a Home Depot. And they got all these articulable facts, plus the person walks away or runs away. You know, agents are trained. What they need to detain somebody temporarily and question them. It's not probable cause, it's reasonable suspicion. We're trained on that. Every agent, every 6 months, get Fourth Amendment training.
That's why Jen Psaki was like, can someone tell Tom Homan how the law works? No, Tom, and someone, who's Tom, but I won't. Tom Homan sounds like he's drowning in his own cheeks. No, yes, that's a fair assessment. He does. No, what's happening with Tom Homan is it sounds like he is, every time right before he goes to a media appearance, he gets injected in every nerve in his face with Novocaine. That's what it is. It's like he just came out of the dentist chair and there's like drool dripping outside of his mouth and he's like, hi. And it's just like drool is coming out. You know when your mouth feels like it's huge and your tongue feels like it's huge and you can't talk? It's like, for whatever reason, I think he has no nerves or like no feeling in his mouth, and that's happening permanently to him. That is my theory. I don't, like, I know exactly what I've meant. Like, it's like he can't feel his own mouth or his tongue. You know when your tongue, when you're numb in your mouth or your tongue feels huge and you're like, I'm choking on my tongue. Yeah, like Tom Homan, that's what's happening with Tom. He's permanently coming out of the dentist chair.
Over and over again. These officers are really good at what they do. And if this judge would make a decision that's against what these officers are trained, what the law is based upon, then they're going to shut down operation. I think that's your end game. They want ICE to stop doing this. But if they base it on the rule of law, they're going to find out Border Patrol and ICE is doing exactly what they're going to do in accordance with law.
Again, yeah, Tom, you're an idiot. Also, you can't enunciate, and a federal judge says no more, Tom. Like, every word he just said in that ruling, it's like, yeah, this is unconstitutional. This is unconstitutional. And, like, it's really funny because decades ago, we already did this in Arizona. Exactly what he described. Sheriff Joe Arpaio, a Trump pardon recipient, someone who bribed Trump for a pardon, Sheriff Joe in Arizona, he did this, SB 1070. We racially profiled people who were standing outside a Home Depot based on what they looked like, based on what work they looked like they did. Yeah, this is all unconstitutional. It was all determined before. Like, Tom, are you okay? The answer is no. And the reason I'm bringing up how dumb Tom Homan is because this man, and again, I don't want to, I'm a teacher. I never want to insult someone's intelligence unless they publicly say that AOC is dumb and Jasmine Crockett is dumb. Tom Homan, you are dumb, sir. Please don't talk about people whose brains work as if their brain work. What you should say is, I feel deeply insecure that brown and black women are so much smarter than I am. That keeps me up at night. It makes me feel really small and insignificant inside, that I am worthless. And so because I feel that way, I go out and I call extremely intelligent brown and black women dumb. That's my own deep-seated insecurity. That's what you meant to say, Tom. Like, I can't listen. I'm sorry. I can't listen to Tom. He makes me physically ill when I listen to him speak.
The thing that President Trump has taken seriously is protecting children while we're doing
couple
this.
more here, if we can get them in. Florida lawmakers visited the migrant detention center in Florida, which your administration has dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz said that the conditions there are inhumane. More than 30 people stuffed into a jail cell. She said they get their drinking water and they brush their teeth from the same place where they go to the bathroom. Madam Secretary, what do you say to these lawmakers who argue this is not humane treatment of individuals, of humans?
Well, our detention centers at the federal level are held to a higher standard than most local or state centers and even federal prisons. The standards are extremely high. Now, this is a state-run facility at Alligator Alcatraz, but they have a...
To be clear, she didn't answer any of the questions. She's saying, hey, we torment and imprison brown and black people all over this country in horrific ways. And in keeping with that tradition, we're just doing it here too. The reason I'm doing this is like, MAGA, that's what she just said. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because MAGA, who are primarily white nationalist idiots, their first experience with how horrible jail is was the J6ers. And they're like, did you guys know how bad it is in jail? Yeah, I did. My dad was in prison. Yes, I did. I had to visit him there when I was a child. I very much understand how horrible it is to demonize American citizens as felons, railroad them into taking plea deals because they can't afford a lawyer and won't get out of prison and have to wait there until trial. Like, you don't need to tell me anything. But apparently, all you just realized prison was shitty. The people that tried to attack Congress were sent to jail, and you think they're patriots. That's your first experience with this. Her response was not, yeah, it's horrible that we would treat human beings as subhuman, deprive them of showers, of clean water, of food, of beds to sleep in. Her answer was, yeah, we're shitting on people all over America in prisons. We don't give a shit. They're not people to us. As a matter of fact, it's legal to enslave them. So we're just doing that here too. That's what this woman just said. So keep that energy for the J6ers that tried to attack a federal building. Keep that same energy and say all of this is wrong. If it was wrong for them, it's wrong now too. Now, let me help you with what the difference was with the J6ers, because your brains don't work. Due process. What happened with J6ers is they had lawyers paid for them. They had a trial. They had a jury of their peers. Then they were sentenced to this prison or jail time or whatever. Due process. That's the difference. Do you get that? But again, if you're upset about the conditions in American prisons, and then you voted to just contract these same Geo Group and Core Civic who are running these inhumane federal and private prisons to then just, private prisons to then just continue it on with ICE. The Bureau of Prisons is now the second largest federal agency. The first is ICE. So keep that energy. Oh, you don't care because brown people aren't people. I just thought I'd try though. That's how, I'm just giving you an example of how logic works. You know, just in case you want to get that brain firing before you accuse me of having Trump derangement syndrome. That's how logic works in debate. You got to follow it all the way through. It's hopeless. Don't even try. But I just thought I would try.
that President Trump has taken seriously is protecting children while we're doing
couple
this.
more here, if we can get them in. Florida lawmakers visited the migrant detention center in Florida, which your administration has dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz said that the conditions there are inhumane. More than 30 people stuffed into a jail cell. She said they get their drinking water and they brush their teeth from the same place where they go to the bathroom. Madam Secretary, what do you say to these lawmakers who argue this is not humane treatment of individuals, of humans?
Well, our detention centers at the federal level are held to a higher standard than most local or state centers and even federal prisons. The standards are extremely high. Now, this is a state-run facility at...
Christie said that's fucking fine. That's what you heard Kristi Noem say. Like, anyways, I have to move on from her because I can't listen to all of it. But Christie says that's fine. And while Christie is a married woman whose husband is back on a farm/ranch in South Dakota, and she's carrying on an affair with Corey Lewandowski,